Social media has invaded our culture. It brings opportunities, but also problems for teens and tweens here in Prince William County and across the country. Today, we look at the problems of social media and at some solutions. Welcome. I'm Phil Kavitz, Director of Communications for Prince William County Public Schools. Today, Inside Education has set up shop here at the Bull Run Middle School Library because we're focusing on something that touches nearly all of our students here in Prince William County, especially middle schoolers, and that is social media. Whether it's posting, tweeting, or vining, students everywhere are really connected. Just check this out. Nearly 75% of teens have accessed the internet through a mobile device such as a cell phone or a tablet. 81% of 13 to 18-year-olds have used at least one social media site or app daily. Here's some of the popular social media sites: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, Snapchat, Vine, Pinterest, and Kik. Even if you don't recognize some of these apps, they are just a few of the ways that digital technology and social media are connecting young people to each other and to the world. And there are more apps and sites introduced every single day. Now, there's no doubt that good things can come from social media, and we won't ignore that. But to start, we're going to concentrate on what many parents and students are most concerned about, and that is the pitfalls of social media. To help students avoid them, you've got to start by knowing what they are.
I think people use social media to specifically hurt someone and make them feel left out.
Social media is a really easy way where you can just make people feel bad, and people can go on there and say stuff to you anonymously and just make fun of you or say bad things about you and no one knows.
Even if your friend isn't the one that is saying those mean things about you and it's another person at their school, you sort of get it and it sort of messes with you, I guess. Throughout the day, it hurts you. I mean, I feel hurt by it. I'm man enough to say that.
I do feel like there is that risk of, with like Facebook events, like people can see that that event is going on, but they can also see that they haven't been invited to it.
Some people send inappropriate pictures to other people, and it kind of makes them feel threatened, I guess.
They vent on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, and it does not strike everybody, including their friends, the right way.
There's been like hateful words on there making fun of other people and racial slurs.
They tell you that they like you in a lot of things, and then on the social media they say they don't like you. Like they're totally back with you and are fake. There's people backing you up on things on social media, so you feel obligated to say like bad things and feel like you get confidence or more power against another person when you do that.
People do say whatever they want on the internet because they're not in face-to-face contact with that person. They can't see that person.
They're like invincible because they don't use their real name on Twitter, or they say that they live in California when they really live in Virginia, that they're invincible, they can't be touched. The fact is that you can be tracked. Like, all of this stays with you forever.
I think it happens every single day around here in Prince William County just because it's easier to hide behind the screen rather than to say it to someone's face.
Well, you can tell that these students know there are some negative and sometimes dangerous aspects to social media, but it's not always easy for them to talk about it. That's why we've reached out to get student thoughts in different ways. What you just saw were some one-on-one interviews. In just a moment, I'll talk with a Prince William County 7th grader and his mom who agreed to share their thoughts. But first, have a listen to a group of students at Ripon Middle School who sat down together with their school counselor, Jake Davison.
I can start off. I've never actually had a bad experience myself personally, but I have seen other people, saying mean things to other people.
Would you say things escalate and get out of hand pretty quickly with these online media
Yes.
situations?
I think that people, it might be surprising to say this, but people like drama, especially on social networks.
Yeah.
So things spread quickly. If there's like a new page where it's making fun of people, they'll say, "Ooh, I want to be a part of this. I want to see what's going on," because it's just
They
something.
have to be in the know.
Yeah,
what's going on.
Like Twitter, like I don't even have a Twitter, but like I'll hear like about tweets that are like making fun of other people that aren't gonna see them. Then I don't get the point of that. Like when I was like in the 6th grade, there were these girls that like didn't know anything about me, but they had thought that I had said something, and they had gone on social media and they had said they were gonna like, come. They were threatening me on social media, and it was like everyone that didn't know about it suddenly knew about it and knew about something that wasn't true. And it was like the whole thing, and then the school got involved, and my parents had to get involved, and it shouldn't have happened.
So something that started with a rumor became a serious situation where
Yeah,
you were
about, like-
involved with your parents and the administrators
Yeah.
and everything like that. So would you say it damaged your reputation?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot.
And I think that's one of the things we forget about is that when we're presenting ourselves online, we have to worry about our reputations, right?
Yeah.
And it's very easy to damage your reputation, but it takes a while to build up a good reputation to have people trust you online, I would imagine.
Well, by now I'm sure you're getting the message that kids have lots of concerns and that there are many more below the surface. So I'd like you to meet middle school mom, Christy Beal, and her son, Jacob, to get their insights. Welcome to both of you. And let me start with you, Christy. Statistics show that middle schoolers have the tendency to use social media and sometimes suffer the consequences more than any other group. As a middle school mom, what concerns you?
Probably that he's oversharing, sharing too much, and sharing information with people that he does not know. I don't think sometimes that he thinks before he shares, and we've run into that occasionally, and then I try to monitor it the best I can and then correct him, and he's good about telling me the truth and being honest, and so that's how we're going from right now. We haven't run into any serious issues, but hopefully with me monitoring him, we can cross those bridges when we come to them.
Well, Jacob, before we talk about the issues, let me ask you how much time you actually spend on social media.
Well, I probably spend about 4 or 5 hours, after school, like coming home from lacrosse and like.
A day?
Yeah, a day.
Wow. Okay, well, you've heard the idea that there's a lot of concerns out there that people sometimes can do dangerous things. They do things that concern their parents. They can meet up with people that they don't know. Does any of this cross your mind?
Not really, because I'm kind of good about staying out of that. Like if someone that doesn't know me personally wants to follow me, I look through their account and see like what they do, and if they're a friend of mine, then yeah, I'll let them follow me. But if they don't know me and like they go to a different school, I won't really let them follow me.
What about your friends? Are they as responsible as you are?
No, they let people who they don't know follow them, and I think that like really hurts them because there's some kids who have like 7,000 followers and like.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we hear a lot about cyberbullying. Is that something that you've experienced or that you know about?
I haven't experienced cyberbullying, but I know about it. It does happen on social media more than it does face-to-face. I mean, it happens in school too, but it's behind the back bullying. It's not really face-to-face anymore, and people will, like, who are getting cyberbullied will ask them about it and say, like, did you say this about me? And they'll say no, and they'll deny it, but on social media, it's a different thing.
So it really happens. Christy, I want to come back to something you brought up before, and that's monitoring Jacob's social media use. But before we talk about your own experience, let's hear more from some other parents and students.
I think they don't monitor it in the sense where they like look at everything, but I think that occasionally they'll check on it and stuff like that. So it does feel a little invasive, but I'm more or less okay with it.
They're like actually not really with the world of technology, like it's actually like blowing past them. They do what they can, and I think that's a really positive thing because it's a constant reminder to me to stay within the lines and make sure I use it as a tool and not a weapon.
In my family, we're not allowed to have a social media account until we turn 16, which is a time where you're more responsible, you can handle yourself, you know better than to mess up on the internet.
My parents don't have any social media accounts, and they probably barely know how to like even turn on a computer.
Sometimes she checks it like without me knowing, so I don't know. Sometimes it gets into my personal business, but she's doing it to protect me.
I'm already able to monitor her text messages because of the Apple Cloud. It goes right into my iPhone and my iPad, so I can actually monitor a little bit without her knowing that I'm monitoring it.
My parents monitor my social media, and I actually really like it because I feel like I realize like what I'm saying more, and I think before I post something.
Well, a number of different strategies there. Christy, how well are you able to stay on top of what Jake is doing and kind of keep him out of trouble?
Well, he isn't allowed to have a password on his phone, so I am allowed to check his phone anytime I want to. I usually check it after school or before he goes to bed at night, and I look through every app that I know he's social on. I check through his text messages, I check through his Instagram and his Twitter. I also have my own Instagram and Twitter accounts, and I follow him, so I'm able to see what he posts. And if I see anything that worries me, I make sure, that we talk about it or discuss it. And I monitor who texts him, and I will sometimes even text some of his friends back if he's not around his phone, so his friends know that that his mother is looking at his phone on a frequent basis.
Well, I saw a little reaction there. So, Jacob, do you see this as an invasion of privacy?
Not really, because she's just trying to monitor what I'm doing and like try to just stay on top of like what I'm doing so I don't hurt myself in the future. And I did get like a little mad when she did text one of my friends, but I wasn't too mad. It was all right.
Well, since you brought up your friends, what do you think they think of what your mother does, and how are they with their own parents as far as checking on things?
Well, some of my friends don't let their parents check their phones, and I just like kind of give them a weird look, and like I know if I ever said that to my mom, I wouldn't have the phone, but and they're not really, they don't watch what they say or anything like that. They just post without thinking. So.
When you see that, does that make you a little nervous? Does that make you have second thoughts about what you're doing?
No, because I don't post anything bad, so I mean I don't. Sure, when I'm posting something, I think about it and then I post, but I don't really post anything bad. So.
Christy, I gather you're not hearing anything new here. You guys have talked about this, but does any of this give you second thoughts? Does it make you stop and think about what's going on?
In the beginning, I was worried because he wasn't posting things that were appropriate, and we've run into certain situations, but we always talk about those situations, and I've been able to monitor him from the beginning. So as long as he changes the behavior after we've had the issues, then it's okay. And we try just to kind of do the best that we can, because I don't want to, he's a good kid. I don't want to hold him back from things, and I don't want to keep him so in a bubble that he doesn't get to experience certain things.
Well, it sounds like you're both doing well, and I want to thank you both for coming and sharing your thoughts. I hope you'll watch the rest of the program, because I'll be back in a moment with more discussion and even some helpful social media tips for students and parents alike. So please stay with us.
Let me go there at night if you want.
Your child is watching you from an early age.
Hey, Rachel?
Drive the way you would want your teenager to drive. Are you a role model for the road?
Okay, yeah, I'll be there in a little bit.
We had a very good group of friends. They were like probably about 6 kids, have been friends since like elementary school. And one friend tweeted something about the other friend, and it went on for about 6 months where it just, and from that the friendship was destroyed.
A big one is the bullying part of it. A lot of it is pictures that shouldn't be on there. That's very scary. And that's something, once it's out there, you can't take it back.
There's messaging apps that are hidden that your kids can get so you can't see the conversation that they're having.
Welcome back. I guess it's pretty obvious that it can seem kind of overwhelming to keep up with students' online habits. Well, joining us now are some people who would agree wholeheartedly that social media and social networking sites are creating a whole new set of issues and problems for young people. However, they are here to offer some hope with tips and strategies for helping us navigate a social media world. So please first welcome Tori Stone, professional school counselor at Bull Run Middle School right here, and Lisa Zantes, who is guidance director at Graham Park Middle School. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
You deal with all kinds of student issues all the time. How much is social media a part of that?
It's a huge part. I mean, I think probably on a weekly basis, I probably deal with at least 5, 6 incidents every single week, at least.
Recently we've had a problem in Prince William County with some students, sending inappropriate pictures. Is that a big issue that you see?
We do. Unfortunately, we do. Excuse me. Kids don't always make great decisions about the content that they put out there, and particularly in middle school, that is a problem.
Well, you mentioned middle school. Is middle school different than high school, and are girls different than boys in how these things work?
I think in middle school we have a little bit more of an opportunity to be involved in what's going on with them. I think girls tend to be mean, engage in cyberbullying, and sometimes share inappropriate photos.
And I think boys, typically they play more game things. They get on Xbox Live and they kind of converse and say mean things to each other that way.
But there's still kind of a danger there.
Yes.
What is the school division doing to help out when it comes to these things?
Well, what we've been doing is every single year we go into every classroom, 6th, 7th, and 8th, and we talk about the dangers of sexting, cyberbullying, sexual harassment. We do that every year, and we get into, again, every grade level.
And how do students respond to it? We earlier had Jacob here, and he seemed to be fine with the things Mom was doing, but does everyone take it as well?
They generally respond really well. They've lived with this their whole lives. So they're pretty comfortable talking about it, and the discussions that we have in the classroom are pretty amazing. So kids, I think, have an expectation that their parents will be involved, because it can be dangerous to be out there online on your own.
Yeah, you mentioned danger. I mean, and so far we've talked about the things that, well, maybe they can give you a bad reputation, but there are truly dangers out there. What are they?
Absolutely. Well, for one, once you post different things, it's there forever and you can't delete it. And it has a long-term effect, such as once they get ready to go to college, colleges can look up their name and find all these disturbing, not very pleasing things that they posted. So it's danger. And I can't tell you how often, no matter how much we talk to kids about dangers, that they will meet people online and arrange to talk with them on the phone or actually meet them in person. People that they don't know, that they're believing what that person is telling them.
That's something you've experienced in the schools?
Very frequently. Yes.
Now, when that happens, how do the parents adapt to that, and how do they react when they hear something like that has happened with their child?
Of course, they're very, very scared. I mean, one of the first things they call us, and we bring them in and we talk to them, try to talk them through it. And if need be, if police needs to be involved, then we help to involve them as well.
And what about other strategies that parents can use, that students can use to help avoid these sort of things? Obviously, not meeting up with someone you don't know would seem like, that's a no-brainer almost, but what else?
Allowing your child to be on social media, it's a full-time job for parents. You have to be in there, you have to be keeping an eye on what's going on. Yes, and if you're going to allow your child to have a cell phone, make sure that you, once again, that you have an Instagram account, that you're able to look at their Instagram account, look at their Facebook, look at their textbook. I mean, everything that they're putting out there, you should be monitoring it.
That sounds like good ideas, and actually we're going to be sharing some more tips in just a moment. But students come up with some strategies of their own to keep themselves safe in a social media world, and I just wanted to mention what some of those are. For example, 26% post fake information. 51% say they just avoid certain apps, and others have turned off the location tracking features on their phones. in a specific app. Is that something you would recommend, or are these kind of naive things that make them feel that they're safe when maybe they're not?
I mean, those are great things to do. However, I know that a lot of the students that I work with, they end up, you know, saying the wrong name. They put a fake name out there, but eventually they end up giving their name, giving their school, giving their phone number, and they end up, some of them, talking to these individuals on the phone. So it's very dangerous.
I think anytime you're talking about middle school kids, you have to consider impulsivity. They don't always make good choices. They don't always think 2 steps ahead of what they're doing. So often they'll have the best intentions to stay anonymous, and they don't.
Yes.
And are parents regularly watching these things and able to stop them often enough, or do you get pulled in, do police get pulled in when it's almost too late?
Unfortunately, I don't think they're monitoring as best as they should, checking it and actually taking the phone away, unplugging it at night. A lot of our children, a lot of our students end up having their phones right by their beds, and they're tweeting, they're checking, they're Instagramming all night long.
Wow. Well, I'm going to ask you to watch for a moment while we look at some useful tips from some of your colleagues, as a matter of fact. You met one earlier, Jake Davison, and he's helped out by some parents and students.
Teens and even preteens can't get enough of their phones and social media. Here are a few tips to help you keep tabs on your child's social media use. Experience technology as a family and model responsible usage. If you are scrolling through your own Facebook feed during dinner, you can't be surprised that your kids are glued to their phones at every meal.
We don't do any electronics at the dinner table, things like that.
Require all technology and media devices be used in common areas where you are readily able to observe them. Sure, they will put up a fight when you tell them they can't have their phones in their bedroom overnight, but most kids don't have the self-control to ignore that text or Twitter alert when they should be sleeping. Take that temptation away by making sure phones and tablets are stored in one area after a time that you set.
We have one computer that stays up front, and if they want to use it, they have to come up front to use it. So they're not allowed, it's not like a laptop they can take to their room.
Have access to all of your children's accounts. As a parent, you should know all login and password information. Their accounts should always be accessible to you. It's not an invasion of privacy to check their accounts. Children will always give more thought to what they are posting or sending when they know you are monitoring.
I had a very overprotective mother, and she was in my face and read my diary and did all these other things, so I felt, oh, that's an invasion of her privacy. Now as a parent, I'm going to invade her privacy. I'm going to know her passwords, I'm going to read her email.
Be technology literate so that you can keep up with your children and understand the newest gadgets and apps. If you see they downloaded a new app, have them explain to you how it works and what it does. As a parent, you might find that certain apps are appropriate for your child to use, but others are not. And that doesn't make you a mean parent.
My mom makes me download the app on her phone so she can look at exactly what I'm seeing and what I'm posting and stuff, so she knows exactly what's going on.
I control her iPod and I know what she's downloading. I can say, nope, you can't have that. Well, why? I don't care, you're not having it.
It's important that you monitor closely what they're doing. And if that means you have to go on Snapchat, you've never been on Snapchat before, then have them help you learn. What is Snapchat? How do I do this?
Talk to your children about sharing personal information and pictures online. Make it a policy that your children are not to share information that is private on any form of social media. And go over the right kinds of pictures to share online. Remind them over and over again, texts and posts should be positive and discreet.
Don't put the location where you're at. Do not put your school. You could probably put the state you're from, and that's about it.
Well, I have to say that I saw the two of you shaking your heads with almost every one of these suggestions, and certainly as a parent, I could not quarrel with any of them. By the same token, it's a lot. What would be the kind of starting point? What is that main message that you want to bring home to the parents?
Well, one of the first things that I would say is you need to keep up to date as to what your children are, tuned into on their Apple or their iPod or whatever. Make sure you know Tumblr, all these things. Every single day there's new things coming up. Make sure you know what is it that they're doing. Are they showing pictures? Are they, texting, talking? What's going on?
I agree. And think of parenting as a verb. So it's an active process. So talk to your kids. What are you doing? What do you think could happen based upon what you're doing? Have those conversations. I always tell parents, get them in the car, lock the doors, drive somewhere, and let them talk about what's going on. Rather than saying, don't do this, don't do that. Let them talk and listen.
Now, the two of you so easily reel off the names of all these different apps, and yet, as you point out, they are coming every single day. Are there any ones out there that you would just want to say to parents, you know, better to avoid?
Snapchat is a
Now,
big
why is that?
issue.
Explain what it is and why that is.
It's a text feature. You can send text messages and they delete within 8 seconds. So kids feel like it's anonymous. No one will know. But it's in a server, one. And two, you can always take a screenshot of that photo. It creates a lot of drama.
Yeah. And I would say Instagram. You know, it's a picture. People are taking pictures now. They're doing videos, and the videos that some of my students are taking are not ones that I want my children to be texting or putting out there for the whole world to see.
Now, of course, that's controlling. You're saying be aware and look at individual things. Is there ever a time when it's right to just throw up your hands and say, absolutely not, you know, I'm pulling the plug, I'm taking everything away, you're out of it?
Absolutely. The parent is the parent. You know, a lot of times parents will say, well, that's mean, or I don't want to invade their privacy. The most important thing you can do is keep your kids safe online. So if you can't keep up with it, or if they're not being straight with you, taking away the technology and reestablishing rules is a great way to go.
Well, when you say if you can't keep up with it, what is the easiest way to start keeping up with it, especially, as you say, when all these things are coming online all the time?
Well, checking it every night, or checking it as much as you can weekly. Checking your child's text, checking and see if they have an Instagram account. Make sure that you friended them and you're watching and seeing what their friends are posting and what they're posting.
But also the new apps. I mean, how do I, as a parent, know that, oh, today they've moved from here to here?
Well, that's when you get them in the car and you lock the door. Hey, what's new? What are the new things that people are using on their phone now? What's a new app? What's a new big thing? Definitely form that relationship with your child so that they feel free, you know, they feel comfortable talking to you about what's the new thing that everybody's using.
Now, you, as far as school counselors, are a resource for our parents, are you not?
Yes, we are.
How do they access your expertise?
Just need to call us. They can email, they can call. Sometimes people are embarrassed and worried. We just say, give us a call. We've heard it all before, and we really can help.
Well, that's great advice, and I know they're going to need that help and want that help. And I thank you both for being here. This is really such an important topic for parents and for students that we can't talk about it enough, and I know this is just the beginning. Along with this program and the tips that people have seen today, we're going to have a lot more from the school division to help parents and families deal with social media in the weeks and the months to come. Please keep an eye on your school newsletters and on the PWCS homepage, and also on our social media channels to stay in the know. It is really up to us to help young people make responsible choices about the social media apps that they can use, what to post, and in considering the actions that can really affect their futures and their safety. Now, with all that said, we really can't lose sight of all the good things that social media can offer. So while we've focused a lot on the risks and the need for responsible use, I want to say goodbye and leave you with some thoughts on the good that can come from social media. Take care.
There's been plenty of times I think social media is a great tool that people can use to stay in touch or keep in touch or whatever, especially during the summer. I'm part of the varsity cross country team, and as a captain, it's my job to relay the information to everybody about warm-ups or things like that. So with everyone being part of a cross country group Facebook page, I can just put it on there and it gets to everybody within seconds, and it's a lot easier on me, it gets things done, and it's better for everyone.
Social media helps me keep in touch with my friends, and it helps me make new friends.
It's allowed me to connect with my family because I have a very large family who lives all throughout the country.
I went on social media and I saw these people doing amazing things with their lives, and so it kind of gave me confidence to try to do what they're doing and get farther in life.
I use YouTube to learn how to do better on my school assignments. I learned how to do little art projects like making shirts. I learned how to take care of my hair.
Since I have friends that don't go to my school, social media has helped me keep in touch with them.
I find out about different events that are going on at our school, such as plays, like sports teams, when their events are going on, how they're doing.
Our kids don't understand the ramifications of the long term of these Snapchats and all of the things that they put out there. They don't see that a college recruiter may look at it, or your future employer may look at it. They say whatever they're thinking without understanding that it may come back to harm them.
You need to keep those lines of communication open with your child. Ask them. Never just expect them to tell you something. You need to be really specific and ask them, what website did you go on today? Or, what are your friends doing? What's the hottest app now? What are you guys up to?
It's a lot of learning stuff. You do the best you can. Our kids are going to have to learn on their own to make sure they don't make the mistake twice. And that learning part is going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. But do it with a lot of hugs and a lot of smiles and a whole bunch of I love you, and you'll make it through.